we have the teka, Formula A, Formula B. Same thing, more towards the center, just to keep things easy. We have DiTEC Marine Products Teak Magic, part 1 and part 2. Teka we pour direct. We'll be diluting DiTEC Marine Products to manufacturer recommendations. We'll show you the results thereafter. Starting, we'll use the teka Formula A. Lots of warnings. We're going to be pouring it directly out of the bottle according to manufacturer recommendations. Yes, we have to be real careful. We only have 4 to 5 minutes on the corking before we have to neutralize it. We'll be very careful on the painted surfaces, and we'll be doing small areas at a time, so we'll only end up doing about 6 to 8 square feet in total. We will be using a medium scrub pad for both products. And now we're going to start with our teka Formula A. So what we'll do is we'll go from the edge of this cleat all the way up until this line here. Again, pouring straight out of the bottle, so no dilution on this one. And then let it dwell on the surface for 2 minutes. Once it's dwelled on the surface, we'll scrub. What we'll do is we'll do 1, 2, 3 passes. We'll do it for both products, so that way it's a true comparison. And then we'll rinse it off. Straight away apply the part 2 on, make sure it neutralizes, and then rinse it off from there. Right, following directions, we'll be applying direct from the bottle. So we have used quite a fair amount there. Just using our scrub pad, we're just going to work it into the surface for a nice even distribution. And now we'll wait 2 minutes and then we'll scrub. So as you wait for our 2-minute timer, you can see it is actually bubbling on the surface. Haven't seen that on the product. Don't think that can be good. So again, we're going to wait for that 2-minute mark. Our 2-minute timer has ended, so I'm going to give it just a quick scrub. And then we'll follow up with a little 45-degree. And then one last one, just going back across. Corking on this boat is not the greatest, so hence our pad is not staying perfectly flush. Making sure we maintain less than 4 minutes on the corking before we rinse off. And rinse off everything off the surface. As with any teak project, make sure you rinse off real thoroughly before we put the teka part 2 on. So we're just finishing our rinse, making sure we remove all the dirt, any teak sap, making sure everything's thoroughly rinsed off here according to the teka recommendations, and then we'll move on to applying part 2. So while rinse, what we will do is we're just going to use a white pad to evenly spread the part 2 around, let it sit, follow the directions, and then we'll rinse it off and we'll get our results from the section. We're now in part 2. Pour Formula B and spread evenly over the dark brown area. As we can see, this will be this area over here, and we'll use the white doodle pad to remove any sort of dirt and ground that may be in the grains. Let it get golden brown, and then from there rinse off all the excess, and then we'll let it dry while we do our Teak Magic comparison next door here. So again, no dilution, so we're going to just pour it directly on the surface, and then we'll use our white doodle pad just to evenly spread as well as loosen out any sort of dirt, as well as making sure we effectively neutralize the reaction of the part 1 that was used. To keep things comparable, again, we'll let this sit for 2 minutes. So make sure I neutralize everything. Right, so we have now waited 2 minutes. It's time to rinse off, and then we'll repeat the process with DiTEC Teak Magic on the other side. Dry it off, let the surface dry well, and then we'll have a true comparison between the teka A and B, and DiTEC Magic's part 1 and part 2. So just following the recommendations, lots of rinsing, lots of water, making sure we remove all the excess off the surface. It's definitely cleaned a little bit. You can see here where the teeth got a bit more of a golden color to it now. And you can see how it compares to the dilution as well of DiTEC Teak Magic compared to just the straight formula of teka. Right, well rinsed, and now we'll repeat the process with Teak Magic on this other side. Now we're going to do DiTEC Teak Magic part 1 and then part 2. Again, using this as our edge up to the cleat, this little area here, that we'll have a nice strip in the center and show the differences of either side. Dilution ratio on DiTEC Teak Magic is 1 part product, 4 parts water. So you're getting 4 times more volume than what teka is already. And let's show you the results from that. Right, so we got our solution mix. Now we're going to apply it to the deck. I'm just going to pour it on because it's a small section, but we can use a brush or a doodle pad to do it. We'll let the teak darken up, as you can already see, similar to that what like teka does. And then what we'll do is just kind of agitate it into the surface, and then same as the teka, we'll let it sit for 2 minutes before we start scrubbing. Right, so we've had the Teak Magic on the surface now, the part 1, for 2 minutes. We're going to start scrubbing, same thing. Against the grain, 45 degree, against the grain, rinse off, and then brighten. Alright, we're done scrubbing. Now we're going to start rinsing off. Again, lots of water, making sure we rinse off, making sure all that product's rinsed off. Real nice, easy. Okay, we'll rinse our pad, and then we'll apply the part 2. Okay, so going with the Teak Magic part 2 now to brighten the teak back up. Again, highly concentrated, so we're going to do a 1:4 ratio before applying it. A little bit in the bucket. It's got more of a gel-like consistency, so if you're doing any furniture or something like that where you don't want any runoff, real nice and easy, you can just brush it on, and that's all that's needed. So same as the teka part 2, we'll apply it just using the white doodle pad, and then let it sit for 2 minutes. Once it's sat for 2 minutes, we'll rinse it off and we'll be done. Okay, so we're just going to dab it a little bit, come across, and just give it a quick spread. So we're going to neutralize that part 1, brighten the teak back up, give us that nice golden color. You can use a brush to do this, or just a pole and doodle pad, or you can just pour it on top just to get it all going. So we'll just pour the rest of it over. Simple and easy. Give it a spread out, and this is just to neutralize that part 1 and brighten that teak back up. So again, let's give it 2 minutes. That's more than enough, and let it brighten up, rinse it off, and then let both surfaces dry. So we've had it on the surface now for 2 minutes. That's DiTEC Marine Products Teak Magic. Time to rinse off. Simple and easy, just to neutralize and bring out that color. So good rinse as we go, making sure we just get all that extra product off the surface. And now what we'll do is dry it with a chamois mop and allow it to dry to show the full differences between the two. That's teka and DiTEC Marine Products Teak Magic. Okay, so we've just let the teak dry now. So we have our teka over there with the Teak Magic on the other side. Pretty even in tone all the way through. Big differences, a lot less product, a lot safer, no burning on the skin. With that, you get in your face or on your hands, it does burn, that's for sure. Had to use a lot of product, used almost 1/3 of a quart to cover the area. where I barely used any of the Teak Magic. Little side-by-side comparison with where it looked like in the middle before we started, and that wraps up Teka vs Teak Magic part 1 and 2.